How are you guys? Sometimes life is rough. Certain things really make a person doubt themselves or question if they have any idea what the what the right thing to do is, other than to sew their mouth shut and hide away in a hole somewhere. A while ago, I had mentioned it had seemed like it had been a long time since I had seen many things in creation, just daily life. After it being so frequent for a while, I felt like having a sense removed, like I was blind in another, like I could physically see, but I was blind to another layer of sight that's there. It's just like, it's hard to explain. It's not that you or that I physically see these things. It's just like looking at events or things like weeds or just certain people's behaviors or my own behaviors, and seeing like a lesson, something important to pay attention to. One I noticed the other day after I was trying to find somewhere outside that was in the sun but out of the wind, because on and off it's been kind of cold and windy here. Well, usually when that happens, it's sunny and it's nice in the sun, but it's in the morning it's a real challenge trying to find an area that's in the sun but out of the wind. That's in the morning. In the morning when it's cold, the sun and the wind both come from the same direction. So in order to be in the light, a person has to be in the wind. And if they want to be out of the wind, and they don't get the warmth of the sun. And after the second time of realizing that, it kind of made me think about like how a person can try to look for shelter from harsh elements, and then end up losing the light that they've got, or that they've found, or that's found them, and end up in the darkness. Then I got a reminder of another one. Another one this morning. I saw a stain on the kitchen floor. And I went to get a paper towel wet to wipe it up. I saw it was really difficult to find the stains on the floor, because it seems like there's either a total lack of light, or the light comes from like these really obscure angles, to where you can only see the stain from like really far away at a low angle. And like the closer you get to it, the harder it kind of like just disappears. So without like getting down on your hands and knees with a flashlight, like shown across the floor at an angle, it becomes almost impossible to find. There's a lot of lessons a person can find just in that one simple thing of trying to find a stain on the floor. A person can find those kind of things in everything. Just most of the time I was going to say they elude people, but it's not really accurate. I mean, it is, but the reason they elude people is because they're too blind from the corruption that they've clothed themselves with. And these articles of clothing don't just wrap themselves around a person. They cloud their vision. For some reason, I was thinking about Amalek earlier today. Actually, I think I've been thinking about Amalek for quite often. And maybe think about Doug's comment about how I think he said somewhere just shortly before World War I started that the one of the chief rabbis of Israel had had said that Germany was Amalek, and to most people, especially most Gentiles, most goyim that know what that means and know the potential ramifications for something like that. Seems maybe really malicious or irresponsible. But there's Amalek really hasn't been a nation for a long time. Like probably close to 3,000 years, at least 2,500, 3,000 years, something like that. They've been associated with Rome and various other nations, including Germany. And Purim is coming up. They were associated with I forget what the proper name is in the Torah or in the Tanakh for the nation where it's basically kind of like where Iran is now, like Persia. But one of the biggest things that Amalek is doubt. That's something that everyone has. There's one thing I learned from Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi that there's one phenomenon that occurs wherever the Jews go. Anytime they do well, then they start to feel too comfortable. It happened in Egypt, and I'm not sure where else after that until parts of Europe. It happened in England and Spain and a whole bunch of North African and Middle Eastern countries. It happened in Germany. Eventually they get so comfortable and so wealthy or they've been too close to the Goyim for too long, and they start forgetting things. When they start not recognizing both them and the Goyim, start not recognizing the separation, not seeing the difference between them that has to always be there. And they also They also get in the they get infected by doubt, mostly because they start living like goys. They start thinking with rationality wholly, and not as it is applied to the Torah. And they stop seeing or acknowledging, or both, the miracles of the Creator. They start forgetting their covenant, and they forget the beauty of the Torah. And so they start thinking old thoughts like, I made this, I did this, I. Thoughts that almost everyone has at some point, if not constantly. But really, no one should have those thoughts, but especially not them. It's easy for people to judge someone else, looking from the outside, thinking that they could do a better job, or that they would be more grateful. The truth is that not that this could ever be, but if it was any other nation, the entire world would have been destroyed a long time ago. Probably like 332, 3, 4 years ago, something like that. They would have got taken out of Egypt and or wherever for the giving of the Torah. I don't think they would have even said, "We will hear, we will do," or "We will do, and then we will hear." They would have had the mountain dropped right on their heads, and that would have been it. And they would have just destroyed the world. Said, "I've had it with you people." For about a year now, more than a year, but like really intensely for about 14 months, where it was really clear, made really clear. I've had a really intense draw and awareness of certain things, and a draw to words of Torah. Even some things I was made aware of that I didn't even realize at the time. It took like 2 or 3 occurrences before I realized the significance of what it was I was seeing. And in a perfect world, if I could manage more merits than I have right now, and that I could do an adequate job of taking on the whole of the Torah. There's not much more I would love to do. But not shortly too long after I realized all this, I also realized that the immense weight of something like that, and a massive amount of fear that if I did try, that I would just feel so horrible if I screwed it up. Not even for the punishment that I would suffer, just the just the failure. Not like a failure of personal accomplishment, but a failure in his eyes. And that made a lot more sense when I heard that 2 things. One, that a Jew has a lot stronger Yetzer Hara to fight, to overcome all the evil inclination that comes to stop them from observing the laws that they're commanded. And 2, that they when a goy converts, they get a new soul. And so it's like, on the one hand, they get a lot of, if they're honest, they get a lot of assistance if they put their whole heart into it. Just like when a person does teshuva, but they also definitely get a new soul, and they become a Jew. And so all the things that were pleasant or easy or beautiful suddenly are filled with challenges and doubts and hurdles and all kinds of excuses for why they can slowly stop doing all kinds of things. And one example that Rabbi Mizraki gave recently was the really horrible, foolish concept that that some converts have, is thinking that they can just go back to being goyim, like just change the clothes, like take off your kippah or your head covering and modest clothing, and stop going to shul or the synagogue or learning Torah, and go back to using the phone on Shabbat and having goy or goya relations. And that is absolutely not the case. It's not like a suit of clothes. Much more than a hat and a jacket. A person gets a whole new piece of their soul, and there's no going back. And there's one. I may have mentioned it the last stream, is that there's one thing that has immense weight that a goy can never do, as far as I'm aware of, anyway. On the positive end, and they definitely can't do it on the negative end. They can't desecrate the name of God, because no one looks at a goy and says that is the representation of God in this world, like the human ambassador. Life is full of so many immense challenges. Most people put weight in the stupidest, non-consequential things. And rarely give any kind of credence to anything that really matters. And the few that they do, they don't understand how heavy those things are. They have no concept of things even more severe. And the fact that a person can be wholly devoted in one moment and then utter one utterance, one sentence, a few words, or do one act in a moment of doubt or anger, and just destroy their entire life forever. How could a person not be absolutely terrified of that prospect? And work to do everything that they can to avoid getting anywhere near something like that. Just like the Yetzer Hara is different between Jews and Goyim. It's just as striking a contrast between the righteous and the wicked. I know most people would look at that once they understand what it means and say that it doesn't make sense because the righteous don't commit, hardly any sins, if it, or very few, if any, and the wicked do virtually nothing but just commit, constant horrible acts. But it's the level of Yetzer Hara for required for a wicked person to commit sins is like very, very minimal, especially once they've been, doing it for 5 or 10 years or something after they've, reached adolescence. By the time they're 20, it's second nature. And so their Yetzer Hara is practically on autopilot. Doesn't have to really do a whole lot because the person has got to the point where it's not something they need enticed to doing. It's something that they've come to love to do. All they think about. Speaking evil and doing evil. Nothing but fulfilling their own desires at each moment with no real concept or understanding of the consequence and how severe an impact something as small as a 1 second sound that comes out of their mouth is. The reason why Germany was on the lake is that they fostered the environment for the Enlightenment movement. Everything got so comfortable. Jews thought that the wealth and money that they made was by their own hand. And they started to adopt the Hokmah of the Goyim. Everything is rational and explainable and scientific and can be deduced and calculated by math and science. That they didn't slowly they didn't need the Torah. They could replace it with psychology and whatever that stupid concept is that smart people is, they like talk about smart things, and I can't think of what the word is. Like Aristotle and Socrates and all other kinds of high-minded animals. And so the German people thought they were being nice, decent people by giving the Jews pretty much an equal status and teaching them their wisdom. They didn't realize that they were unknowingly one kind of Amalek. The Amalek that comes to cool them off. Because the original Amalekim in Shemot and Exodus, the one thing that makes them different from all the other nations is they heard and they saw all the miracles that happen from the plagues of Egypt to the giving of the Torah. And they did not fear God. They were totally rational thinkers. Who explained everything away with math and science as random occurrences. And because they didn't fear God, they uh, they attacked the hindmost, the weak, the ones that had doubts in their own hearts to begin with, the stragglers. And so the Germans started out as just rational thinkers that instilled a little bit of doubt, not knowing what they were doing, at least not consciously in the front of their mind. And so once things had gotten to a point where it was on the verge of getting any worse and God having to just absolutely destroy the entire world, he took the desires of the wicked and channeled them in a way to force a separation. He hardened their hearts to where they would not just be spiritually Amalek and murdering their souls, but he would harden their hearts to become an army of Amalek, to murder their bodies, so no more souls were sacrificed. And so we find ourselves today in the last incarnation of Edom, aka America, which objectively embodies pretty much all the prerequisites and hallmarks of Amalek, and of every nation that was every nation that the Jews were ever in, where they got too comfortable and too cooled off, and then was eventually destroyed. If somebody doesn't see it soon, it's going to be too late. And by somebody, I mean a lot of people, like a lot. Way, way more than there is now. Like, at least tens of thousands times more, if not millions. Both Jews and Goyim. They both don't realize what they're doing. We're gonna all get not only put through the meat grinder again, but we're gonna have to get some real serious scrubbing once we leave this world, for all the horrible stains that we put on our souls, and for all the chaos that we have created here and above. That's one thing about that saying that the Masons and others use, as above, so below. That's not just a roadmap for how man is supposed to emulate God in the heavens. It works the other way also. The destruction and chaos that people do down here causes the same amount of chaos in the upper worlds. The most basic understanding that is important to know about that phrase is you're supposed to emulate his traits and ponder and create the goodness of the heavens in this world. You're not supposed to try to be him. You definitely aren't supposed to sell your soul to Satan or some demon for magic tricks and whatever your wicked heart tells you. Hey guys, how are you tonight? Hey Joshua Haley. Yeah, I'm way behind on comments, so the that's definitely the thing about now is pretty much every rabbi that's out there in any kind of like I guess I need to be very careful with the words I choose. A lot of rabbis that are in positions of kavod, you know, with head rabbis of Western nations and big YouTube channels with hundreds of thousands or millions of views and stuff like that, and definitely anyone that's not at the very least what most people call orthodox. They're they're either severely ignorant and misguided, or they're definitely Erev Rab. There's no other option. And like I said, it's it's really easy to be critical, but the world would have been gone a long time ago if it wasn't for them. And the other thing is we are in the end of days. The predominance of Arab Rab is one of the distinguishing features of the Arab Mashiach. I mean, for a long time there was always heretics and leaders that didn't care about anything but what's referred to as their own stomach, like their own desires, either honor or money. But it's never been like this. Or the what they call the Gadol Adol, the greats of the generation are pretty much drowned out by the heretics. And the number of people that follow each are very small in one camp and very large in another. Yeah, that's a good comment, Joshua Taft. It's no fun to have the world on your shoulders. No pressure, guys. We're all just counting on you. That's just one of many things that really has made me think about. I mean, I have my own physical boundaries in numerous ways that I would have to overcome. But the reality is those are if I was to convert, But the reality is those are so small compared to everything else that's infinite. All glory to God. May his name be praised. The now there's real intense Kabbalah is definitely not for any goy, and it's not for almost anyone, even Jews. But there's a lot of applicable teachings in the Zohar and the other various other works that a person can learn from and understand, concepts like a vessel. People want money. People pray to God for all kinds of stuff, but the most people don't even pray for the right things or with the right intentions, let alone the pray properly. The proper way is to one, a person should ask for whatever God wants to give them in a way that will keep them closest to him. Whatever that is. If it's being dirt poor and at the edge of sickness and death will be that, then that is what is best for them, not millions of dollars and being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, whatever other stupid ideas people have. And the way to ask for stuff, in a more precise manner is to ask for to be guided to create a vessel to receive the blessings, because that is what is required to have them pour into the world. If there's no vessel, then there's nothing to hold it. So, needless to say, there's no way for it to come in. And even if by some reason that people can't understand, that it is allowed to come in, that they receive the blessing, but the vessel is not the right size or shape or purity, then it won't be able to hold the blessing, and it won't be a blessing, it will be a curse. And so it will either overflow and not be contained, or the vessel will shatter or the vessel may hold, but the light inside becomes dark and corrupted. And whichever one of those occurs, then it's no longer a blessing. Words are words are really important, and when a person realizes how important they are, just the stress and interaction of life makes it difficult to keep in the front of your mind to constantly be mindful and cautious of what comes out of a person's mouth. Hopefully, we can all the promises that we've made, and hopefully we'll be judged as Anus or Ama Eretz, and like not not held liable or released. But most of the time, that's not how it goes. There is a process. I forget what it's. I forget what the word is, but there's an actual process when a person makes a an oath or a pact that they know that they probably shouldn't have made. You write it down. You say, I forget. I don't know what the correct terminology is, but you basically write something down that says, I want to be released from this thing. I was foolish in making it, and I forget if it's two or three. I think you need three witnesses, and they all sign. I'm not sure if. I mean, it's probably hard enough for most average Jews, but it's probably going to be impossible for goyim, because you need someone who's acceptable as a witness in a bet din, as far as I understand. I'm not sure if righteous goys are considered acceptable witnesses, and the only Jews that are acceptable witnesses at a bet din are those who are shomer Shabbat and mitzvot. I mean, if you live in a major U.S. city, or close to a Jewish community with a like a kosher bet din that's orthodox, or whatever, fully observant of the Torah, you could probably just go in there and or maybe send them an email or something like that. Ask them if you could get some help. I'm not sure how well that would work out, though. I'm glad these helped someone other than myself. That was the whole point of starting off. That and so I felt a totally unnatural urge to vomit whatever nonsense originally started pouring out of my mouth. I I realize now that a lot of times the urge and an intention to do something doesn't always mean it'll turn out or is the best idea. But all I can do is keep trying. I hope to one day be able to try my best. That will be a monumental occasion. There is one possible good thing about if we go through the cycle another time with was this last incarnation here, and that would be that most likely it would be a sign that things are, the resolution and redemption shouldn't be far off. But a terrifying aspect of that is that one of the things is said will be a requirement before Mashiach finally comes is that it will have to be at a point where either everyone or nearly everyone has almost completely given up all hope. And so for that to occur, it would have to be absolutely horrible and possibly also much longer than people think. But hopefully we can all do our part to to see it speedily in our days, so it comes sooner rather than later, and at the very least put forth our efforts, so we have the merit to at least sweeten the judgment. If it can't come with mercy and kindness, but if it could, that would just be so amazing. There was just a small group of people somewhere that could refine themselves and humble themselves and get along with each other, and just enough for just long enough that those 10 people would have the merit to see it happen. It still wouldn't absolve all of the billions of wicked people, though. No matter how it comes, there's still going to be a lot of people that are going to get vaporized. My toes are starting to get kind of cold, so I think I might go inside and try to get warm. I don't know what I'm doing out here anyway. I can go inside. I guess it's just habit. For a while, I wasn't sure if I'd ever be able to do a stream without smoking. I forget if it was only one other one or more, but I'm very grateful that I've at least been able to get this far. One of the things I've prayed for myself and others over the last few months is for God to remove my mine and everyone else's desire for everything that is not good for the mind and the body, and most importantly, what is not good for the soul. With a great deal of His help, slowly. Don't let the rough patches get you down. You just gotta acknowledge the failures and do teshuva and just keep asking for the strength to keep working towards where you want to be. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night. You're welcome, Lee. Thanks for stopping by. Good talking with you.